Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. This is Living in Morris County. Have you ever heard the saying, even a blind squirrel finds a nut? Well, I'm assuming that's not how you want your home process search to be described as. So in today's video, I'm taking you on a map tour of Randolph, New Jersey with a fine-tooth comb so you know everything that you're getting yourself into. We're talking schools, restaurants, major roads, other transportation, you name it, we're covering it. So make sure you stay to the end of this video so no one's describing you as that blind squirrel. Let's go. My name is Kevin Saum. Each week I bring you videos about moving to or around Morris County and the surrounding areas. So if that's why you came here today, make sure you give this video a like, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of the content that I'm dropping each and every week. I'm also a licensed real estate agent in the state of New Jersey, and I help people like you move to and around Morris County and the surrounding areas every single day. So that number is popping up below. If you're to give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I cannot wait to help you do the same exact thing. All right, so to kick today's video off, we're going to start off with just the map of Morris County, and I just want to highlight that Randolph is really centrally located within the county itself. And what I always say about Randolph is that there's not a ton going on in Randolph, but you're never more than 15 minutes away from pretty much anything you could think of. So obviously we're surrounded by Rockaway Mall. We've got Denville and their shopping centers and downtown. We've got Parsippany, which has my favorite Wegmans. That's 15 minutes away from my house. We've got Morris Plains. The train station is anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes away from anywhere in Randolph, and it gets you into New York City in a little bit over an hour. We've got Morris Township in downtown Morristown, where you can enjoy their nightlife, entertainment, and restaurants in 15 minutes or less. We've got Mendham Township and Mendham Borough. So Mendham actually used to be a part of Randolph Township, or vice versa. It was actually, all of this was Mendham Township before, and then at one point in time they divided it into two. But I always say this is that when you're looking at Mendham, Chester, and Randolph, the price point that you might be able to afford in Mendham and Chester might get you something different than what it would get you in Randolph. So basically what I'm saying is, like, it has a very similar feel to it, and you might get a little bit more bang for your buck in Randolph, so it's definitely something to consider. We're surrounded by Roxbury Township, Mine Hill, and Wharton, Dover. So these are all the towns that kind of surround Randolph, and Randolph's able to reap all the benefits from what those towns have to offer as well. So to start off with the Google Map tour, we're going to go to downtown Randolph first. So I'm going to start off in the southeastern section and then work my way clockwise before we, through town, just to tell you where everything is within these areas before we get back to where we started. So I would consider this to be downtown Randolph. And again, if you're driving through this area, you wouldn't be like, oh wow, this is definitely Randolph's downtown, because there's really not a ton going on. But this is Sussex Turnpike right here. And if you take this east, it brings you all the way into downtown Morristown. And from this spot, probably 12 minutes, I would have to guess. So that would be, right here is the Acme grocery store. There is Barini's Old World Market. There's another little strip mall over here. They recently put in a new Rita's Italian Ice here, which has been packed over here on this corner. This has been a little bit more developed, this area, since this photo was taken. But Rosie's Restaurant is right over here, which is a popular Italian restaurant. But my favorite Italian restaurant is actually in this little unassuming strip mall. It's called Barona's, and I recommend you get the bread pudding for dessert if you ever go there. We've got Pizza Palace over here, also has some sneaky good eggplant parm if you're into that. Then we've got the indoor sports pavilion, which if you have a athlete in Morris County and the surrounding areas, you've definitely spent a lot of time in here. There's lots of lacrosse, soccer. I've had flag football games for an intramural league in here as well. So this is, a good chunk of downtown Randolph, I would call it. But if we make our way a little bit further east here, if we make our way a little bit further west, there's another little strip mall here. That's where the post office is. This is the Mount Freedom section. And there's also Mount Freedom Golf. There's a mini putt, driving range, par 3 course, which has the option to do soccer golf or frisbee golf. Again, if you're big into golf, it's not the nicest looking golf, facility that you've ever had, but it's super convenient if you're in a pinch and you want to do something fun on a nice day. There's also a pizzeria in this little strip mall too. But yeah, that's what's mostly going on in the southeastern section of town. Then if we make a little bit further north in this section, we've got Brundage Park, which is close to where I live. I live in this area over here. And there's tennis courts, basketball courts. We've got baseball fields. There's also some soccer and lacrosse fields over here, a fishing pond, and there's a skate park that's really popular over here as well. And about 6 miles of the Randolph trails are in this section of the park, and they're actually really the only paved sections throughout the whole trail system. And just to remind you, the Randolph trails are about 16 miles worth of trails that go through Randolph's parks, some neighborhoods, and the schools. So definitely a cool option, and not far away from Brundage Park, we've got Freedom Park, which I think is probably the most popular park in town. At least when I go there, it's always packed with kids playing. So we've got some baseball fields, basketball court. The Randolph trails run through here as well. And I can actually walk through my neighborhood through the trail system to get to that park pretty easily. And yeah, so to finish off what we're kind of doing in this southeastern section, well, we should probably hit up the schools first. So this is like a little school complex. So we've got Randolph High School, Center Grove Elementary, the Randolph Middle School, and as you see, football field, baseball field, soccer, lacrosse field over here. But really great schools. This is the A-rated school district, according.niche.com. Then we're going to make our way over to the Shongum Lake neighborhood, which from this neighborhood, you can be in downtown Morris Plains with that train that gets you to New York City in about a little over an hour, in almost 10 minutes or less in a drive from this neighborhood. So this is a private lake community, has an HOA of about $655 a year, which gets you free swim lessons. Well, not really free because I guess you're paying for it, but swim lessons. There's a full social calendar with different events throughout the summer months. There's a clubhouse as well, and other amenities that you can expect from that HOA. The kids in that neighborhood go to Shongum Elementary, and I do see kids walking across Hanover Ave to get there, so it's a walkable neighborhood. They have some crossing guards and stuff like that, so that's just something to consider. We're going to cross this little red line is where the border of Randolph and Morris Township is. And one more thing to hit on, Randolph, as far as utilities go, generally you're looking at public water and natural gas, but it's hit or miss whether it's going to be septic or public sewer. I would say more often than not, it is septic. This section of town is public sewer because of its proximity to Morris Township. They kind of hooked into that Morris Township sewer system. So if you're strongly against septics, this is an area that you are going to want to consider. Then we've got Central Park of Morris County, which is obviously not in Randolph, but it's very close. Is another convenient option to enjoy in that southeastern section of Randolph. Okay, so now we're going to make our way a little bit further west into the southwestern section of town. As you can see, this is a big part of where the Randolph trails run through, this heavily wooded area. So we've got Heistine Park, which, to be honest, there's really not a ton going on in that park. It's like a playing fields park. But this section, although not pictured very well in this map photo, because right now this is actually a fully developed park. It's called Veterans Community Park. There's a town garden in this section. There's pickleball courts. There's a pavilion. They host events here, like something called the Arts in the Park Festival, which is basically like an arts and crafts fair. And this section of town I always describe as like, it's got a very Mendham-Chester feel to it. And just to go back to our map here, if we're looking at the southwestern section, Mendham and Chester are really very close to that. So when you're driving through Chester, driving through Mendham into Randolph, it doesn't look like, oh, I must be in Randolph now. It's got a very seamless kind of feel to it. So if you do like that Chester, Mendham look and feel, but maybe don't like the price tag, Randolph is a great option, especially the Ironia section, which is just that southwestern portion, to consider. So back to Google Earth. This is the Ironia Elementary School. So kids in this section of town would go to this elementary school. All right, then we've got, this is a neighborhood called Heritage, and you're looking at like colonials that are about like 4,000 square feet, $1 million+, something in that range. So we've also got, there's another neighborhood called Mendham Lake Estates in this section of town, which I believe is right here. Yeah, so this is Mendham Lake Estates. This is a private lake that you have to live in this neighborhood to enjoy. But yeah, all things to think about, but really cool little neighborhood over here. Really close to the Randolph trails. There's a trail system that runs right across the street right here, a little trailhead. So if you like the outdoors and trailing and more remote type hiking, this is definitely a great section that you can really walk out your door to enjoy those. All right, so in the Ironia section, there's very few shops and restaurants, so I'm just going to orient back to 2D just to make it a little easier for myself, but I'm going to hover back over to where the border of Randolph and Chester Township are. This is Bill's Luncheonette, and it's a little breakfast lunch spot that has great sandwiches, and it's been there since like 1954. It's definitely a popular spot in town, but technically in Chester. Then we've got the Pizza Pub over here, which is in Randolph. So this road essentially divides Randolph and Chester. There's another little strip mall over here that's got a bakery and a barbershop, but that's pretty much it for like this section when it comes to any kind of shops and restaurant feel. So pretty much all residential, parks, and trails. So let's start making our way up to the northwest section of town, and as we start getting north, you're going to start to get a more commercialized type feel to Randolph. So I'm just going to stop this spin here, reorient here, and like this Horseshoe Lake is technically Roxbury. So we'll go back to our map just to remind you, this northwest section, you're bordered by Roxbury, Mine Hill, Dover, that area. Okay, so we'll go back here, and yeah, Randolph has a tennis center, so lots of sports options here. So we got a tennis center here. You cross Route 10, we've got an ice rink. Then there's a climbing center. There's gymnastics over here. This is like a whole industrial complex that has a lot of like sports activities that you can do inside, and some other businesses as well. Then there's also the motor vehicle, New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission is over here. So if for license renewals or car inspections, any kind of thing like that, again, I wouldn't say that when you're actually there that it's really a great, enjoyable, efficient experience, but at least you won't have to drive very far to get there. Then we've got Randolph Beach Park, which is a part of Randolph's park system. You do need to be a member to go a part of there. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's that great. My family and I personally chose to be members of the Morris Township pools. So there's Streeter Pool, which is only like, again, 10 minutes away from our house, not more than 10 minutes away, 10, 15 minutes away from most things. So we chose to go be members at that pool because you don't have to live in Morris Township to enjoy those. But yeah, we're going to just jump out of Randolph for a second just to highlight, like, as we get into Roxbury, we have a lot more commercialized industry, doctor's offices, shops, restaurants. And this complex right here, we've got a huge ShopRite, a Home Depot, giant Walmart, and then tons of other stores and restaurants in this section. So again, you're not more than 10 minutes away from that, depending on where you live in Randolph, but very convenient. This is Route 10. This is Route 46. There's a bowling alley over here. You get to Route 80. So again, you're very close to a lot of convenient commuting options in Randolph, which makes sense because it's right in the center of Morris County. All right, so we're staying in this northwest section, and I want to get to, here we go. This is RTSP. It's a firearm shooting range, and I don't know what your stance is, or it doesn't really matter, but what your stance is about firearms. But if you are looking to learn how to do it, I did go here once. They have a very safe process, and it's a great place to learn if that's something that you're looking to do. But we'll start making our way east along Route 10, and another major thing in this northwest section is the County College of Morris. So the County College of Morris is it's within the top 2% of all community colleges in all of the country. So highly desirable school. Kids from even outside of Morris County like to go here just because of how strong of a reputation it has. And they also host events here throughout the summer and other things like that. So definitely great to have that in your backyard as well. And then I just want to zoom in on this another little shopping section here. This is the Randolph Diner, great for late night options if you're looking for late night food, which isn't always the case when you start making your way away from New York City and Morristown. There's not a ton of late night options, but right in Randolph, they've got a late night option with the Randolph Diner. It's got solid food, like any diner. They pretty much got anything you could possibly imagine. There's a Weiss over here, but again, I don't really go to the grocery shopping options in Randolph. I go 15 minutes down this road, Route 10, to get to Wegmans, and they've got everything that I need, and it's worth the trip. This section of town is called Fernbrook, and this is Fernbrook Elementary, so that's the elementary school for this section of town. I would say this is the most affordable section, so smaller houses, a little bit older houses, and but it does have public utilities. So another added benefit that if you're strongly against having a septic system, this is another section of town that you are going to want to stick to. We've got some more restaurants and shops throughout, really all of Route 10. So we're going to start making our way further east down Route 10 into that northeast section. And again, more commercialized just because you have that proximity to Route 10. But this is a shopping center that's technically Randolph. There's a Staples here, a couple restaurants, but not a huge destination shopping center, I would say. Not a ton going on there. But if you continue to go further down, there is actually a brewery around here as well. It's called the Fort Nonsense Brewing Company, technically in Randolph. It's got a pretty good vibe. So on the outskirts of town, kind of off the beaten path, you have to know it's there to look for it. But it's a great option if you're looking for something to do on a weekend. So yeah, there's more shopping options. We're going to get into Denville, so we're not in Randolph anymore. I'm just showing you how close you are to some of these strip malls. So we've got a little shopping center here. There's a Starbucks, and obviously an Orange Theory as highlighted. But if we keep going a little bit further, we're going to get to something that a lot of you people are probably pretty interested in, and that there's a Trader Joe's right here. And there's only 2 Trader Joe's that I know of in Morris County, and that's this one, which is in Denville, very close to Randolph, and there's another one in Florham Park. So a lot of big Trader Joe's fans. Some people don't like Trader Joe's. I like it, but you pretty much always have to go to another grocery store to finish your grocery shopping, so depending on how much time you have. Anyway, that's what we're looking at for here. But again, if you take Route 10 all the way east, you're going to hit Route 287. You can get to Route 80. So super convenient, travel options with the road proximity in Randolph. But again, I hope this tour gave you a good picture. We've kind of done the full spectrum here of what Randolph has to offer. Check out some of the, I hope you enjoy some of the B-roll along the way. Check out some of my other Randolph videos where I go in depth on, what activities to do in Randolph, the parks, the neighborhoods, you name it. I've pretty much covered it at this point, but also feel free to drop questions below in the comment section. I'm glad to answer those or make more videos. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I just want to remind you, I am a licensed real estate agent in the state of New Jersey, and I help people like you move to and around Morris County and the surrounding areas every single day. So if you're looking to make the move and you want a hands-on approach, I'll fly the drone for you if you want to do some virtual tours. But either way, I'm here to be a resource for you. So that number is popping up below. Feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I cannot wait to help you find your dream home. Till next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed.